Alright, so I received this message from somebody, and I want to read his message, and I'm just going to respond back to his message. Alright, so, title of the message is Kung Fu Forms. Greetings, Master Lee. My name is, well, I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to put him out there like that. I was first introduced to Kung Fu in the Middle East around 2007. I enjoyed it very much. I trained under a very peaceful master by the name of Wang. He was probably the most badass person I've ever met in my life. He was very humble and very, very peaceful. I enjoyed his classes because they were not always physical. There were some classes where he would teach us how to react to a violent situation if we ever encountered them by telling us stories and sharing some philosophies. Unfortunately, when I moved to the U.S. for college in Ohio, I didn't find any good Kung Fu places. I did try this one place, but it was more of a cult than Kung Fu. The students treated their master like a god, which I did not like at all. Also, they used a belt system, which was somewhat different from me. My master never had belts. He always said you are either a student or a master, so there was never any need of any belts. I like the idea of having no belts. And as far as teaching your teacher like a god, I mean, at that time, I don't know what to say about that one. Alright, now I'm continuing. Anyway, I saw your stretching and meditation video, and you remind me a lot of him. I hope to come train with you one day if I ever visit Chicago. I know you dislike BJJ, but since there was nothing to keep me occupied, I had to try out a new martial art, so I did that and have been doing it for 5 years. I enjoy it, but I do agree with you. Many guys are pricks and assholes. They have no respect while training. I'm the only one who bows before and after entering the mats. I miss Kung Fu a lot. I also did capoeira and karate. Continue. Anyway, the main reason I was messaging you is to kindly ask if you know any Kung Fu forms such as the Tiger Fist or Long Fist. I believe the way it is said in Chinese was San Chuan and Nan Chuan. Since I've been gone from the Middle East, I stopped training Kung Fu. I'm starting to forget these forms. If you need knowledge on them, do you mind making a video of one of them? It would be nice to be reminded of how they are done and to relearn them. Alright, so as far as those forms are concerned, I think our vision, our understanding of what Kung Fu is quite different. The way I see it is Kung Fu is a individual expression. You know, like you meet people that have great Kung Fu and you want to learn from them. And not just about the physical, but about their spiritual, their spirit and the way that they are as human beings. Like, you want to be led by good people. People that not just physically fit, not just capable of fighting, but people that are trying to represent something positive, like spiritually. As far as those forms are concerned, I have my own expression of martial art forms that I've created on my own. So I don't call them Tiger Claw or Long Fist. I have my own names for them. A lot of stuff I do is spontaneous, and I don't really promote like fixed forms because I think that it's just it's not necessary, and it's overburdensome to the mind to have to memorize something. If it comes natural to you to memorize, then that's great. But for me, it doesn't come natural. I'd rather just be more spontaneous with my movements. But every so often, like having a series of memory to kind of organize your techniques and your expression, there is a benefit to that, especially if you want like groups of people to do it with you and you want to all be in sync and be in proper timing. And it's great. It's a great teaching tool to have, to be able to have something like consistent day after day, so then people could kind of have something to aim towards. So I can see a benefit in having fixed forms, but mine are created by me. It's not something that I just memorize from somebody else and then pass that on to me. That's like that's like copyright violation unless you receive permission from the person to, you know, pass on their fixed form, then that's okay. But if you don't receive permission, to me it's just kind of like mimicking somebody's like words of a song that somebody else created opposed to just creating your own song. So I'm pretty much about creating my own songs, not just creating my own songs but creating my own labels as well. Meaning not calling it Tiger Claw, the long fist. I wouldn't really use those labels. um, One of the labels that I use for my form, the first one that I mainly teach, is I just call it the powerful fist form right now. You know, um, and then I use other labels such as like tactical kicking techniques and dynamic kicking techniques, um, close quarter hand techniques. Instead of calling it Kali sticks, I'll say double sticks. Um, you know, just kind of be more innovative and create my own labels to kind of have a new understanding that's kind of separated from this type of stereotypical way of like viewing things and limiting yourself into believing things that are to segregating things by country or nationality, whatever the case may be. Um, so I'm not even really here to promote the Chinese martial arts because I'm not even Chinese myself, meaning I was born here in America, so if anything, I'm an American, and people, my parents were born in Hong Kong, but I was born over here, so I learned from not just China, but I learned from the East and I learned from the West, and I put everything together. As far as what you label it, I think it's best not to label it. But if I'm forced to label something, um, I like to use the word kung fu because kung fu just basically means you're disciplined to better yourself, and you encounter different people in this world that inspire you, and you should learn from the people that have something positive to impact your life with. So that first person that this individual mentioned, that he was learning from was probably a really good teacher. But then through time, things change and you move and you go other places and you encounter different people in your life, and you may never find a better teacher than the one that you met originally. But then when it comes to that point, you may end up having to teach yourself, meaning guide yourself. You know what I mean? For me, I don't really see much anybody out there that's, in my eyes, worthy to kind of guide me, other than myself. The only person that I was really looked up to when I was younger was Bruce Lee, but even Bruce Lee is very limited in what he was able to share to this world. He just had a few movies and a few books, and that's it. And then once you understand that and you're able to move, keep moving forward, there's really not much more to go on because there's nothing left because he died already, and he hasn't really produced enough to give people um, like more to work with. But he did provide us with references as far as like where we could go for more knowledge and more wisdom. He pretty much pointed us towards like the Eastern philosophy, J. Krishnamurti and Buddha and Zen, and that opens up a whole new, door of opportunities to learn. So I kept learning from the references that he provided, and I learned from him, and now I'm leading myself and I'm expressing myself. And I think that's what people have to do is when they can't find a good teacher to learn from, they need to guide themselves and utilize the resources of the world. That's why we have the internet. That's why we have Wikipedia. That's why we have YouTube. That's why we have all these videos and books to learn from and all over the world. And you could pretty much choose for yourself, which teacher is worth your time. There's millions of people out there claiming themselves to be teachers, and there's gonna be hundreds and thousands of people that are not worthy of teaching. They shouldn't be teaching. They're frauds. And they're like Um, they're just out there to confuse people and manipulate people and deceive people and basically get people to head towards the wrong direction in life. So we need to choose the right teachers or just kind of get to the point where we can lead ourselves. So as far as those forms are concerned, as I stated, I don't have much of what you see in my videos is what I teach, and I don't teach anything really traditional. What I teach is spontaneous and new and created by me. You know, so that's all I gotta say. Kung Fu, as I stated, is an individual expression. It's not something where, oh, you know what, that there's a Chinese guy, oh, he knows Kung Fu, let's learn from him. No, or like Kung Fu is just basically like an individual expression, and you need to find the worthy teachers. Just not a lot of them out there. That's that's a fact. You know what I mean? So you know, guide yourself and head the way. The way I see it, rather than join a mediocre school, a garbage school, I'd rather train in my own. Train in my basement, train in my home, train outside, and do my own thing. That's how I'd rather do it like that. You know, rather than learn BJJ and all that nonsense. You keep putting yourself around people that are a negative influence, it could very easily turn you into a negative person as well. Like put around yourself around a bunch of people who are sick, good chance you're gonna get sick as well. So I say that if you want to represent something positive, represent something to a higher level, you may start and have to train on your own, and then build your own group of like-minded individuals who, maybe you could become the leader one day. As you keep training yourself, then you could meet people that value what you value, and you could kind of in a way create your own school or create your own family. That's pretty much how it goes. You come starting off with a family. You might have a brother and sister, mother and father. And then one day you get old enough, and then you end up um, meeting a woman, fall in love, and then you start creating your own family. Now you have your own kids, and you have your wife. You got your own family. And that's kind of how I see it with the martial arts. You have a teacher that you really love and you love his teachings, but sometimes things happen. Maybe your teacher might die. Maybe you move away, and then you gotta move on. You gotta do your own thing. You gotta represent your teacher's teachings yourself, and then pretty much build your own way, and then build your own family. That's the way that I see it. Don't jump into some crap, like combat sport or BJJ or something like that. I don't think people should be doing that. I think people want to represent the real, then they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it on their own. Or if they find a valuable teacher, then stick to that teacher. But there are teachers that's passed away that have left valuable teachings for us to learn from, like Bruce Lee. We could hold on to those teachings and let those teachings guide us and go to his references as we find our way in this world, and gather up a bunch of people, or gather up people that have like that think the same way that we do, and then we could create our own following. Might not be a huge following, might not be millions of people that follow you, but every person makes a difference. And even if you have one person follow you, 5 people follow you, 10 people follow you, it's something that it's a start. It could be a start to something big. You know what I mean? There could be millions of karate practitioners, but they're nothing compared to one Bruce Lee. Millions of rappers out there, but nothing compared to one Tupac. Millions of basketball players out there, nothing compared to one Michael Jordan. So one person can make a huge difference, and it's not all about the numbers to me. I'm more about the quality, and that's just what it is. You know, people that want to represent real kung fu, true kung fu, body, mind, and spirit. A lot of times in your life, you're gonna have to do things on your own.